Today on America's Court with Judge Ross.
The time that you were investing in this man's wife was the time that you could have been investing in someone who was single and free.
She initiated it, and I just went with it. Hey, I'm a single father and,
And a predator.
No, not at all.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Bryden Packerson claims his neighbor was having an affair with his wife and says more than his marriage was damaged after the confrontation. Mr. Packerson is suing James Caperton in the amount of $1,103.
All rise. Remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties been sworn, Your Honor.
Third, get up at the Thomas. So the two of you got into it, Mr. Packerson.
Yes, that's correct.
So your wife was somehow involved with this situation between the two of you.
Unfortunately, that is correct as well.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
Yes, my wife Faith and I moved here about a year ago, last August. We were originally from Boston. I was transferred here because of business.
Okay.
She and I have been married for about 4 years now. So when we came here to Los Angeles, we were looking for a nice neighborhood to raise a family in, potentially start the family. So we decided to slow down our workload a little bit.
And you ended up buying in a neighborhood that Mr. Caperton resided in. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And how close do you live in proximity to the Packersons?
We are next door neighbors.
Next door neighbors. All right. And so what was the relationship that you had with Mr. Packerson?
Well, Your Honor, I've been living in the neighborhood for 10 years now with my son. I'm a single father. We never really talked or anything, and then he started inviting neighbors over to his house.
You never talked with Mr. Packerson?
Correct.
Were you talking with Mrs. Packerson?
Neither one of them at the time.
Okay.
And he saw that I was a New England fan, same as him. And he started inviting me over to his house to watch the football games on Sunday.
All right. Is that true, Mr.
Yes,
Packerson?
that's
You
correct,
all
Your
shared a love for the Patriots?
Yes, sir.
And the relationship between the two of you was fine, and then we have this situation that comes up.
So when I invited him over, it was really just for the games to get to know people, but a friendship started to emerge because he was a single father. And, at the time I started to look up to him kind of for advice because, he had more wisdom than me with the family thing. He was a single dad.
And you were interested in having children at some point?
Yes, Faith and I were actually intending on starting a family when we moved out here. Mm-hmm. So I had him over, and as we started to bond a little bit, I also noticed that Faith started to hang around the games a little bit. And that kind of struck me as odd at first because she hated the games. But I figured, hey, this is a 2-for-1 deal. I get to watch the games and I get to spend a little more time with my wife. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Because?
She started to get a little snippy with me. She started having an attitude, nitpicking little things. So maybe a few weeks later was the championship game. So I was going to host it as I usually do. The night before the game, I actually told Faith that I wanted to talk to her about what was going on, and she became, agitated and picked a fight with me. I mean, for the last couple weeks, maybe even a month or so.
And you didn't notice that the whole time these games were taking place, that Faith, your wife, and Mr. Caperton were engaging in chit-chat?
No, her and I, we were not. She was making a bond. She was bonding with my son because I would take my son over to the games with us.
Not true.
And
was his son also at the games?
Yes, Your Honor. He started after maybe the...
Did you ever see your wife engaging in conversation with what's your son's name?
Vincent.
Did you ever see Vincent and your wife engaging in conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
When you were saying that's not true, when he said that she was bonding with his son, you just affirmed that was true.
No, he said that he had never had conversations with her.
Well, he obviously had to have some conversation if he's bringing his son over.
I mean, she's the host. They're the hosting the party.
The reality is the conversations went in a whole different direction.
At first, no. She would talk to me and say, I like how you're a single father. You have a nice son there. You're bringing him up. You're raising him real nice.
At some point, the conversation stopped being about Vincent. That's where I am right now.
Okay. Well, okay, yes. And she would talk to me. I mean, she would call and she'd always talk to me. Or if I didn't answer my phone, I would call her back.
And you didn't have any problem having these direct conversations with this man's wife?
Yes, I did.
Okay, then why did you continue to do it? And
I sort of like the attention, Your Honor, because like I said, I'm a single father, and being a single father, you know, you don't have time to go out and really mingle and meet anybody and anything like that.
Oh, so it's okay to go over to someone's house and start going after their wife?
Sir, I got this.
Coming up on America's Court.
The time that you were investing in this man's wife was the time that you could have been investing in someone who was single and free.
She initiated it, and I just went with it. Hey, I'm a single father.
And a predator.
And later.
This classroom is an electronic-free zone.
Okay.
Let's just start with that.
What does it have to do with you throwing coffee, missing the trash can, and hitting his computer?
The computer wasn't supposed to be there.
Closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Bryden Packerson, who is suing James Caperton for property damage.
The time that you were investing in this man's wife was the time that you could have been investing in someone who was single and free.
She initiated it, and I just went with it. Hey, I'm a single father, and, you know.
And a predator.
No, not at all.
Well, here's the thing. You can't call him a predator.
When your wife initiated everything.
Now, but
that's what you said.
This whole issue of
because you
wait a minute.
please her.
You're saying that's what he says, but weren't they in your bed, her bed?
But he manipulated the entire situation.
He manipulated finding his way to get into her house, finding his way up to the bedroom, and making her take her clothes off.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Absolutely.
No. Here's the thing, because you keep saying you're a single father, and I'm telling you that label isn't serving you well in this capacity, as opposed to I'm a man and I was weak in a moment, several moments. But the bottom line is, in the course of you finding him, there was damage to your home.
Yes, that's correct.
What was the damage exactly?
So when he springs up out of the bed when I first bust through the door, he throws a blanket over my head, I guess to distract me, and then he bolts out the door. But in doing so, he pushes me over, knocks me over a table, knocks over a lamp. Then he's running down the hallway screaming all kinds of expletives and this, that, and he's going to do this, that, and to me.
He's just screaming for no reason.
He's screaming, obviously, because he thought I was coming after him.
But you weren't coming after him.
At that moment, I was knocked over a table, and he bolted down the hallway. I didn't even have a chance. I did eventually get after him.
So at some point, you were coming after him.
Yes,
well,
that's exactly.
And that's why you do if you saw somebody with a bat?
Sir, go ahead.
So after he knocks me over, runs through the hallway, I go chasing after him.
And that's when he starts screaming.
Yes.
All right, so he breaks the lamp. What else?
So he starts hollering at me. I threw some books at him. Those hit the wall. I threw a couple remote controls at him. Those hit the wall and broke. Then he ran through the hallway and down towards the back of the house. And when he did that, he slid. He banged into the wall, dented, the wall, the drywall. Then he decides, instead of going out the front door, that he's going to run through the back door. He runs out the back door, across the yard, and what to me looked like he tried to hop over the fence, barrels through my fence, knocking out the entire paneling, and now I have to replace that. So all those damages are included.
I heard he caused damage to a lamp, he dented some drywall, and a fence.
Yes, that's correct.
Those three things.
Yes.
Those three things total $1,103.
No, I'm also including the remote controls.
That's not going to happen.
Well, I mean, if he's not in my house in the first place, this never happens.
That's not going to happen. You threw the remotes, correct?
Correct, but I felt threatened in my own house at the time, Your Honor.
He's running away. That's not going to happen. I hear lamp, I hear dented drywall, I hear fence. Anything else?
No, that's it, Your Honor.
All right, do you have proof that these three damages total $1,103?
Yes, I have an invoice right here.
I'll take a look. Mr. Caperton, what do you have to say, sir? You don't feel as though you're...
The damage of the drywall is from him throwing the books and the vase and everything at me.
A book isn't going to put a dent 3 feet by 4 feet in the wall.
If you were able to settle this outside of this court, I wouldn't be sitting here.
No,
the lamp is $30, and you caused damage to the lamp. You have a justification for that, sir? I don't think so.
Okay.
All right, so you're paying $30 for the lamp, and then this vase is $27. I didn't hear anything about a vase.
That was the vase that I actually threw at him.
Put the
downstairs.
hole in the
Sorry, I
wall.
forgot.
That's not going to happen. No vase. Picture frames, 246. What's the story with the picture frames?
The picture frames got broken when he was barreling down the hallway. He must have brushed by them or...
Those are from you throwing the books.
I think I did read in your complaint that you threw some books and it damaged the picture frame. Didn't you say that, sir?
Yes, I did throw the books.
So no picture frames. Remotes, you already said that you threw the remotes and broke them. And this wall damage is $680. I mean, you haven't, this is just an itemization, but I don't have any proof that you actually got an estimate with respect to the wall damage.
I had a friend of mine who's a contractor come by and do the estimates.
Okay,
He
well, if the
works on
person's
it.
a contractor, then they would have a specification listed of all the costs associated with, because a dented drywall is $680. I would need to see proof of that. I'm okay with the lamp, but interestingly enough, you don't list the fence. Why not?
The fence is going to, I have to get almost the entire fence replaced because of the
Well,
type
if you're
of...
saying he's responsible, why not give me proof of that?
I thought I had the receipts
Okay,
with me.
so no fence. Even though you're saying that's one of the things you listed. So unless you can do better with this wall damage, sir, I don't have any way of verifying, who this person is and are they legitimate? Or are you just saying, oh, I'll just put down $700? This is just something that you wrote. Is that all you got?
That's all I have with me today.
All right. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel's going to come down in favor of the plaintiff for $30. Because I don't have any proof of anything else. Are you still with your wife?
No.
Okay. Are you with Miss?
No, I'm not, sir.
Okay.
Smash and grab.
Well,
You need to learn how to take care of a woman and please them.
sir.
And this wouldn't happen.
Sir, you need to learn how to live your life to the example that you want your son to grow up to be. That is the order. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $30.
Well, now I'm out the property, I'm going to be out the money, and I'm out my wife. Maybe next time he'll listen to Judge Ross and make the right choices.
I am happy with the verdict, and I have no problem paying the $30 for the broken lamp.
Coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
Mr. Russo deliberately threw a cup of coffee at my laptop, damaging it beyond repair.
That's outrageous. Mr. Russo, did you deliberately throw coffee at Mr. Hilliard's computer?
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Garrett Hillard claims his classmate deliberately threw a cup of coffee on his laptop and says it was damaged beyond repair. Mr. Hillard is suing Oliver Russo in the amount of $550.
Mr. Hillard, prove your case, sir.
Your Honor, we are in court today because the defendant, Mr. Russo, deliberately threw a cup of coffee at my laptop, damaging it beyond repair.
That's outrageous. Mr. Russo, did you deliberately throw coffee at Mr. Hilliard's computer?
No, I didn't, Your Honor.
All right. Did you have coffee in your possession at some point in time?
Oh, yes, I did. I definitely did.
All right. And where were the two of you, Mr. Hillard, when this situation happened?
We were finishing up an anthropology class. After class, Mr. Russo threw a cup of coffee that seemed to go directly onto my laptop and spill and
You
fry.
were drinking coffee and you hadn't finished, so there were contents of coffee remaining in the cup, and you throw it to a trash can knowing that there's fluid inside?
Oh, it was. I was going to another direction. I was heading to my
So
teacher.
why not just walk over to the trash can and drop it?
Because I was in a rush. It was a small class. I mean,
So you're rushing to get to the next class? Is that what you're doing?
I'm rushing to make sure I throw this away and get to my question I was about to ask the professor. So I'm.
You were trying to get to the
throwing
professor.
cup away while
All right.
I'm like.
And you threw a cup, and I take it didn't make the trash can.
It didn't,
So a
yeah.
future in the NBA is probably not the case for you.
Not at all. But I do have. I mean.
So it didn't hit the trash can, but it did hit his computer.
Coming up on America's Court.
This classroom is an electronic-free zone.
What does it have to do with you throwing coffee, missing the trash can, and hitting his computer?
If the computer wasn't supposed to be there.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. America's Court is back with the case of Garrett Hillard, who is suing Oliver Russo for negligence.
This classroom is an electronic-free zone.
Okay.
Let's just start with that.
What does it have to do with you throwing coffee, missing the trash can, and hitting his computer?
If the computer wasn't supposed to be there.
A computer was sitting where you threw coffee and missed the trash can and damaged the computer.
Yeah.
All right? Someone has to cover the cost of the damage to the electronic item, whether it was supposed to be there or not. $550, can you show me that that's the actual cost of the computer?
Yes,
Is that for a brand new computer?
No, it's not. It's for a reused computer. It's refurbished, so it should work to my needs.
So it otherwise would have cost $1,200.
Yes.
What is this? Hey, man, did you really need to call me out to the professor? He didn't seem to care, and no one else is complaining, so I don't see the big deal. Rules are rules. I don't want to see your phone or laptop out again. And if I do, I'm going to do something about it. Is that you?
That doesn't. I sent that.
And he said, shut up, you're not the professor. Which is true. Okay. All this helps me. I saw some papers. Anything you think that was going to help your situation?
I do have.
What do you got?
An email from the professor and the sign of the no electronics in the classroom at all.
Okay, so if somebody has an electronic device in their backpack.
And it wasn't in his backpack.
Okay, well, was it in use that day?
No, not that day.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. Promotional consideration provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
Okay, so what? You can't even bring an electronic device, or is it you can't have it operable during the course of the lecture from the instructor?
It's an electronic-free zone, so
Your Honor,
I would think no electronics at all. No
Your
cell
Honor,
phones, laptops.
We're not here based on what
everything.
you think. We're based on what is. And what is, if he didn't have the computer on and operable, but he had it on his person, and you caused damage, because an electronic device is a phone, which means no student can even walk into the classroom with a phone. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure everybody in that classroom had their phone.
But everyone don't use it like he.
Was he using the computer that day?
Not that day.
So what are we talking about? It's a moot point. Based on the evidence and the testimony before this court, the gavel has to come down in favor of the plaintiff. You guys obviously don't like each other. I don't know why it's such a weird coincidence that you all are in each other's orbit. So you need to stay as far away from him. You see him moving into the dorm next semester, you're like, can I transfer to the different dorm? You see him taking a class, I'm gonna drop that class and I'm gonna take this professor, because otherwise you're gonna keep coming out of pocket, fella. Yeah. 550 is your judgment. Case closed.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $550.
At the end of the day, he got coffee on my laptop, he damaged it, case closed, end of story.
I know we don't get along. This was the accident. I guess I'd pay for the laptop.
Follow America's Court on Facebook and Twitter. This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.